survey that we are having in front of us here. Let's we can quickly look at the first page one. Page one has the learning component. Then on without a copy? Yeah, it has the learning component. Page 2 has the assessment component. Page 3 has the teaching staff component. Then the page 4 has the learner component. Page 5 has technology component. And technology is quite long. It occupies 2 pages. Page 7 has the e-portfolio, the concept of e-portfolio itself, even without having technology in it. And then page 9 has the e-portfolio technologies. And lastly, the last one is open badges. So it's quite a long survey, but I hope we can be able to complete it within such a short time. This survey is online, and but we have the hard copy version of it here. So as we agree on a point, then we shall capture that point in the survey. Yes. So our university is Makerere University. So you are going to type there Makerere University, and then we proceed. Now, this will take us to the learning section. I hope the internet will be fast. If it's not fast, we shall leave the internet and go to the paper, and we can circle whatever we think is there. So on learning, there is an element of curriculum design. And the columns are headed unobserved, aware, exploring, developing, integrated, transformative. Meaning which level are we on in terms of curriculum design at Makerere University? Those of us who have been able to go through a number of, like Professor Jessica, Richard here, myself, those who have looked at the way we develop our curriculum in Makerere University, the answers are there. If it's unobserved, they say little or no concern with curriculum design. Maybe a university could be teaching, but it has no concern. They just go and teach whatever they find, or they just get anything somewhere and they come and teach. They don't mind about curriculum design. There is a growing understanding that centrally designed curriculum does not match the needs of the learners. There is a growing understanding that a centrally designed curriculum does not match the needs of learners. Some members of the teaching staff do not simply apply the curriculum, but also redesign some elements within their own discipline. The organization encourages all teachers to interpret the curriculum in relation to the local context. Learners, staff members, education leaders are actively involved in the design and review of the curriculum. The local and regional community is actively involved along with learners, staff, and educational leaders in the design and review of the curriculum. So, where would you place curricula of Makerere University? Not necessarily big home, not necessarily the curricula here at this college, but even in other colleges. Which is the best statement there that fits our curriculum? Yes.
I can go with aware. There is a growing understanding that a centrally designed curriculum does not match the needs of the learner.
Okay.
Integrated. Not going integrated. Learners, staff members, educational leaders are actively involved in the design and review of the curriculum. That is that before you present a curriculum at Makerere University, you must have carried out a needs stakeholders something. Yeah, somehow. Some evidence that no curriculum in Makerere University passes without a report of the stakeholders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe by the time our colleagues joined these ones, We had already done the BCom curriculum, so we were not part of that. But basically, I think we fully integrated, because the last one of transformative, when you talk of regional, now I don't understand the regional community. That's the addition there which I don't understand well. But integrated I can understand.
Okay, so do we go with integrated? Okay.
I think I would agree with Richard there, because really you're supposed to have done the needs assessment, you're supposed to have involved stakeholders, and the stakeholders should include the current learners, the alumni, the employer, the staff. So all these people are part of this integrated. Transformative is still limping on one leg there.
Yeah, so we are going with integrated.
Yes.
I think we take integrated.
Okay, integrated. Yeah, that one. Then outcome-based learning. Now, outcome-based means, for example, you are looking at the product that you want. What kind of competences the product should come out with. That's the kind of outcome-based curriculum. Do we design our curriculum with that in mind? Okay? So the answers, little or no concern with outcome-based learning. There is growing understanding of the need to promote outcome and competence-based learning. Outcome-based learning is used in a limited number of courses or used by a limited number of teachers. Outcome-based learning is encouraged and valued by the organization. Outcome-based learning is applied systematically across all disciplines. Staff members are actively involved with their community of practice in the definition and review of the learning outcomes within and across the disciplines. Yes?
Perhaps I would go with developing outcome-based learning. I think is valued and encouraged by the organization in particular. We find the lecturers mind about the product of the students. They do a lot of supervisions, and at times they bring in some other third parties like the seminars to really train a good product. I believe they are valuing and also encouraging outcome-based learning.
Is there any dissenting view from that one? So we take integrated still? Developing,
Yeah.
Reflective learning and practice. Now, what I'm seeing from this tool here is the kind of thing that we should be looking at as a teacher when you're teaching. You should look at having a good curriculum, you should look at ensuring outcome-based learning, you should look at ensuring reflective learning and practices. So these are the things that are the e-portfolio is trying to actually bring out and encourage within the university. So we are trying to see how far, where are we? So reflective learning and practice. Little or no concern with the reflective learning and practice. There is growing understanding that reflective learning and practice should be the foundation of learning. Reflective learning and practice is integrated in a limited number of courses or used by a limited number of teachers. Some organization processes have been redesigned to require reflective practices. Reflective practice is promoted by senior staff with influence. Reflective learning and practice is an integral part of the organizational processes for all staff. Reflective practice is integrated within a global community of practice, e.g. professional body, and contributes to global innovation and changes. Yes, where are we? Reflective.
Maybe you can unpack for us this reflective learning. It could actually be happening. But the word reflective learning is what is confusing me.
How do we define
What
it
is
here?
this? How do we teach when we are using reflective? Is it when we use groups?
No, I think my understanding of reflective learning is that you teach a learner and you request them to maybe go have a journal where they write their understanding, what they understand, where they can be able to apply what they have learned. You know, today I was here, I was learning how to do a balance sheet. you know, what they have learned, what they think is not well understood, and that's what I think, in my thinking, that's what I understand by reflective learning, but Jessica can clear the mind very well. Yeah.
When you look at the word reflect, when you reflect on something, you're thinking through your it's like the best example is when animals, ruminants, the sheep, the goats, the cows, when they eat grass, then they bring it out and then they begin to chew it again. That's what you do as a learner. You've gone through a learning experience in class, and then you go back to it and begin to think, begin to ask yourself some questions. What did I learn? What didn't I learn? Why didn't I learn that? Or if you've done an assignment, why did I perform badly? How could I have improved? You're reflecting, you're rethinking, you're revisiting that activity, and the purpose is for better learning, for improvement. But it shouldn't be just for learners. It is for the teacher as well.
Yes.
You go into class, you teach, and then you come out and then you sit back and say, I had set out to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I only did 5, 6, and 7. Why didn't I do the other? What worked? What didn't work well? Therefore, how should I re-strategize for the next lesson? So those processes are the reflective processes in teaching and learning for both the student and the teacher.
So in Makerere University, therefore, having had that kind of explanation, do we have a kind of an entrenched system that permits or that encourages learners to reflect? During my time in this university, we used to have what we used to call tutorial assistants, and in the evenings, we would meet either in the halls of residence or some venues within the university here to be able to, with the tutorial assistants, to be able to reflect on what the professors have taught us. That system was there then, but I don't know whether that was reflective, whether that was reflective or a reflective practice or not.
And on e-teaching, I think, for example, in the FAP course, I should be able to put a section that reflect on your own learning, feeding this area. What have you liked most? What have been the difficult areas in this story? That kind of thing. But it's not in my course. I've not put it. But it's when I'm doing the e-teaching course. Remember, Agda? There was that, or is that last form? That one. Reflect on your which I've actually learned, but I'm not a practice. So next week I should include it on.
So
But in bed, what we've been doing, particularly with the internship, is we've been encouraging students to keep journals as they implement their projects, to say these are the different activities, and underneath each activity, you ask yourself, did I implement it as I wanted? Maybe I didn't. I need to improve. Next time I should do A, B, C, D. But it's a struggle because the concept of being reflective is not embedded in our teaching and learning system in the country.
Yes.
So it's not very much utilized, even though opportunity is there for students to reflect. There is very little actual implementation of reflection.
So can we say that, by senior staff we can hear?
No, maybe exploring.
Exploring, I think, would be good, yeah. Exploring.
Exploring.
Because the internship is done by everybody in the university. And that logbook, everybody at least feels in. I feel as if it is developing. That's what
But they're saying it's by senior staff.
But also it's only a limited number of courses.
I think it's
Because
limited number.
if it is only internship, and maybe when you go to medical school with problem-based learning, there's an element of reflective practice there.
Yeah, I think
exploring
would be the best option. Yeah.
Community and peer learning means, I think this is learning in groups, social learning, where does our curriculum encourage students to sit together and learn with each other, with peers, and share ideas and so on. Are there group activities within our curriculum? Are there There are activities that permit students to go out in the communities to study and so on. That's how I understand that particular element.
So we're exploring.
Yeah, learning with each other.
Yeah.
No, developing.
Developing
Yeah. The
happens
questions.
across disciplines and heterogeneous.
All of them? Groups?
I think every student in the university.
I believe given the numbers we have in different programs, there has to be group work.
Yes.
Peer
So it is
learning.
developing.
Yes.
Yes, it's there already. Most of the assignments now are group assignments and they are learning from each other.
So we
Maybe the community.
It being a university-wide survey, what we expand a bit beyond our own.
So we are
So we are in developing. Okay.
Let's take that.
Okay, self-directed learning. I think that one is
Like
self-explanatory.
Let us
Yeah.
read through. Then the first one we shout out what they feel is the answer.
Somewhere between exploring and developing.
It is
I
developing.
would go with developing. Yeah.
Developing.
Exploring is also another category that can be.
So we can vote between the two.
It is encouraged and supported in some sectors. That is developing.
Yeah.
So we are
So we
going,
vote.
Encouraged and supported.
So we
Why
vote.
in some sectors?
Because
but also when you look at our system here, we have strict timetables for students. Say this time you must be here, you must be doing this.
you see, developing has allowed us to pull. When they put some sectors, they're allowing where street timetables work and also where people are left to work. Under developing.
Because
Developing is giving you now, it is pulling the exploring inside here and also the perfect inside. When it says some sectors, it is allowing those who are still on the traditional, then those who are moving.
Like for instance, our distance learning students,
Distance
most of the time
learning.
they do self-directed learning.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yes.
But
But
some,
also now there are more courses available. There are more lecturers exploring with Mwele, and they're providing some tasks there, particularly with the master's programs now. Even if they are not on Mwele, with the master's programs, there is an increasing use of, those. Here is a journal article, go and study it and come and make presentations. I know that here in the college base, self-directed learning and also group learning is a major strategy in base.
So we are developing.
We are developing.
Integrative learning. What is integrative
It's
learning?
integrative learning. I think integrative learning is where you bring in the different skills, different experiences, and they become. The teaching is not in silos, but you can transfer knowledge from one course to the other. You can transfer skills from one to the other.
Yeah, and I think the definitions of these things are in the transformative part. When you go to the transformative part, that's where you can see what they are actually trying to mean by these things. Yeah. Where you are permitting formal learning and informal learning, you are all putting all these things together, multidisciplinary kind of learning.
Beyond
As-
disciplines and
yeah,
beyond
as
institutional walls.
a doctor, maybe you need some sociology components. You need some education. Because you are going to be working with the people out there. You need to teach them, and so that kind of integrated way of learning. Yeah. So how is Makerere University curriculum? What far have we gone with that?
I think we are transformative.
Already?
Already? No. Maybe in awareness.
The description under transformative to me applies. Integrative learning goes beyond disciplines and institutional walls to integrate outside resources, formal, informal, non-informal.
Yeah, that's what it does. But are we there?
We're not yet there.
That's what it does.
Developing.
So we are developing.
Yeah.
For me, I wouldn't say we're just exploring. Because even within subjects, let me talk as an educationist. You find philosophy is taught like philosophy, sociology is taught like sociology. That business of pulling all these threads together and making them speak to the learner as with one voice doesn't happen. Everybody is protecting their own territory, and there is very
So it
little.
could be
there-
developing,
Yeah.
at least in business, in BCom, what we are trying to do, whatever we pick, whatever from wherever, we add, we bring it as business something. Like communication skills, we bring it as business communication skills. When we pull research methods, it's business research something. When we pull law, it is basically business law.
That is the silent.
So,
Yes.
so it is developing, it's awareness, that type of thing.
But can this become student?
Is the basics, so is that kind of integration that is really applied.
So there's voting here now.
We could say that
Develop.
the organizational structures permit it, because in Senate, even this idea that communication skills is, what do they call it? Cross-cutting, gender is cross-cutting, ICT is cross-cutting, development studies is cross-cutting. So there is that provision within the organizational structure for integrative learning.
Yeah, it permits, there's a fertile ground.
Yeah.
Developing.
So
Yeah.
developing, no voting.
Innovation.
Yes.
Innovation. Innovation is the engine that drives the organization. It is constantly reinventing itself. Are we constantly reinventing ourselves? Or is there a ground that permits us to constantly reinvent ourselves?
I think we are
Currently,
we
we
are
have no
developing.
badges, so how do you think developing would go further? Right? Yeah, there are no badges. But
Those are the terms. Actually, because integrated goes with the badges, yeah. So we go with the developing.
yeah, developing. Yeah.
Developing.
Everybody is encouraged to innovate.
Yeah.
And we had a few scaled up in agriculture, engineering.
And our bus,
Yeah.
our bus.
So you can see that in actual feeling in this, it's improving my being a teacher. Because I learned that in learning, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aspects are very important. So assessment, we are going to assessment. Assessment transparency. That's right. Assessment transparency.
What do we exactly mean by assessment transparency?
Openness, assessment.
And
We
the-
involve the learners.
Under transformative, yeah, we find
The assessment. The learners are not
They are not
involved in
involved.
designing, but at least they are made aware of the assessment criteria to use. So they are in the know.
Like for instance, if you give an assessment and you give a rubric and say learners who mention this and this and this and this and this
we'll pass
will pass with between 80 and 90%. Those who will say this and this and this and this will get between 70 and 80. Those who will not say anything, they will get below 50. That is one of the transparencies. Then I went to University of Queensland in Australia, and one of the transparencies that I saw there was that there is an office which is charged with the responsibility of trying to guide students to write their essays. You take there your essay and they guide you and say, here you have not referenced very well. You need to reference using the APA or Harvard and so on. So they assist the students too. But that assistance is not for actually the student getting marks, but it's a teaching for learning purposes. They are teaching the students that you should assess like this. That maybe your format of the coursework should be like this, like this, like this. So I think that's the transparency. But also here they are saying learners are actively involved in the definition of the policies regarding assessment process and criteria.
I think we are, since we are on our way,
Not
Our
exploring.
we are on our
Not
way.
exploring.
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 Our students get involved through the guild representation because we're supposed to have student representation in the academic boards and in Senate, and when curricula are being discussed at that general level, is that involvement. When it comes to the much more refined rubrics specific to courses, that's where there's no representation.
So we are developing.
No, I think exploring.
You see, exploring has a problem. It is saying that
The
criteria and
criteria and
processes are
process
generally
are generally-
externally defined. And that's why developing has
Exclude-
internally,
excluding the learner. Oh, okay.
developing has internally defined, and I think it's a higher level that Makerere University defines its own assessment criteria.
But
Yes.
they are not negotiated
Although
with the learners.
in some, in some.
And some are negotiated.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can tell these learners, you guys won't do these 3 assignments, but this one is graded, this one is not. But maybe the other one is, why don't some lecturers negotiate these things. Some don't.
But what is the policy of the university? What's the policy of the university? Where you can go and say, yeah, lecturers, you are encouraged to. No?
So that's now integrated, now mentions the policy.
But just like it's clearly defined that coursework is 30, exam is 70, the CGPA is this, if you get a 50 is a 2. Those
Is
are
enough
clear
guidance.
policies. They are clearly defined.
So we are going for integrated.
So it means
Because there is a
they
policy.
exist.
Basically, there is a policy.
There is some
There is a
Because
policy.
integrated now brings in the issue of policy, which
There's a policy requiring that
Uh-huh.
the publication of all the
Yes.
assessment
Uh-huh.
processes and
Yes.
criteria, including the promotion of negotiated ones.
Maybe they negotiated.
It is negotiated now.
I don't know.
The students can tell us, are we transparent in the way we assess?
Yeah, tell us now.
Yeah, we take what? Integrated, transformative, we take yours, we move on.
Yes, they are transparent.
So where are we?
Just like Shaz said,
Integrated.
they publicize when we're in year 1. Remember during our orientation in the Freedom Square, they had to tell us how we are all marked, the courseworks and what on. Then at times it zeroes down to the lecturer himself. He's like, this time around I'm going to give you 2 tests. All the other, when you do best, all we can compare things of the sort. So they're a little, they somehow include us, and they're a little open to us where need rises. Not always, but where need this, they do.
Transformative. Transformative.
During the orientation, we just inform.
We said it is not, we are not yet.
Transformative,
We are
not yet there.
still developing.
Planners are involved at the city senate.
We are developing, eh?
We are still developing.
Developing.
Because the broad policies which are known and open are very broad. The things that happen in the different courses, that is where the real life is. Those things are not transparent.
Some are
So-
negotiated.
Developing.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's not dissenting, we vote.
We thought.
We vote.
Yeah. But what we are learning here is that if we adopt a transformative pedagogy, learners have to be aware about how they will be assessed.
That is
And then you
developing.
have to, yeah.
They do.
No, I mean,
Have
if
to be involved.
we are saying, me, I'm learning from this,
Yes, true.
yeah, from this. But the answer there, what the answer we are arriving at is developing.
Developing.
Accreditation of prior experience and learning. Eh? Accreditation of prior experience and learning.
See,
I think it's only Afrisa that is doing this
What is that? African.
in the university.
Afrisa is.
Afrisa is some
In event where
in
they're
KS.
taking people and
Afrisa, okay.
I think that's the only one.
Prior experience. So if you come in with your experience,
Because they have those small courses, the certificate courses, they're working with farmers, they bring farmers to teach people and so on.
for example,
So
if
exploring.
I want to do a BCom in Makerere University, I say now I want a BCom because I've not done a BCom. Where do I start from?
They will go back to your A level and your degree. agree.
But
You can't say, I have been running a business in Nakawa. I have a grocery shop in Nakawa. I have O level, but I have been running a business. And I keep books and I market my produce.
so where are we?
Makerere doesn't take that into account.
Or an observant?
There's also another issue.
An observant.
An observer.
But
There is a freezer.
there is
We have
a
a freezer,
freezer,
yes,
so
so
we are
we are
exploring.
beyond that.
Exploring.
And yeah.
Design,
No, aware.
Even exploring.
But
Aware.
the description.
Some staff are aware
Yes, we just know it,
of
but
the
we are not.
potentials.
It's aware.
We are where?
there's an issue
No,
where
exploring.
Practice.
Not
Actually,
exploring.
Like
Accreditation is practiced, but only by a small number of staff and all disciplines.
That's where we are.
Yeah, I think we're in exploring.
Even maybe even exploring.
we have
Exploring.
an issue where a student who comes with a diploma in Makerere has to start in year 1. Yet in other universities, you start in year 2. So meaning,
So that, no, what we are saying, if because it is a university wide, we are saying that in some few, like Africa, she has mentioned that in this market there are units that are trying to do it.
Yes.
But for us, we are not in the BCom, we are definitely not. But there are some
Yeah,
ones.
because even on our Bachelor of Youth Development work, according to the curriculum there, if somebody has a diploma in CYP,
Yeah.
they join in year 2.
The regulations are there.
So are we
So
exploring?
we are
So we're
going
exploring.
with exploring.
Exploring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Recording and reporting progress and achievement. Recording and reporting progress and achievement. Yeah. Where are we? So we can look at the transformative one and we get where we are. Individual and organization progress and achievement are aggregated beyond the institution's boundaries to contribute to the improvement and or transformation of policies. We're exploring. Yeah, we're exploring, I think, especially for graduate programs.
we proceed.
Exploring. Are you still with us? Seeking and providing feedback. Assessment.
I don't know.
Authentic is the second last.
Assessment.
Yeah. Authentic is the second last.
You need to explain this.
Authentic assessment. Authentic. It means you do something exact as in class, the way it's done outside, in your where you'll be usually going to work. For example, if you're an accountant, the kind of assessment that you do in your class should be similar to the balancing of books that you'll be doing in the field. Or if you're a finance student or banking, the kind of assessment that you are subjected to in the classroom is similar to the kind of the banking practice out there.
There are a lot of examples of authentic learning taking place in Makerere. When internship is one of them, and then when you go to practical areas like medical school, these students are in the wards all the time. When you go to vet, they are working with their patients all the time. When you go to engineering, they have all those projects. In CIT, they have all those projects. I think there is quite a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
Developing.
It's more than that, I think.
Integrated.
Assessment is treated as learning about learning and is deeply intertwined with the learning process, which is itself based on authentic learning experiences. I think this time we are in transformative here.
No,
Probably integrated.
we are not. Because deeply intertwined with the learning processes. I think even in those practical areas where they have to do the practical, then they do it. But it's not part and parcel. That's why you get complaints that we are producing engineers who can't do certain things. And people are grumbling about that. So you can't really say we have transformed.
To go for integrated.
Integrated or developing?
Developing.
Developing.
Organization structures and processes have been developed to accommodate and encourage assessment of performance in real life settings. Okay, we are trying to put in place structures too.
They have been put in place. The internships, these are the...
Internship, in fact, falls under integrated properly.
Because it's a priority.
When it's exceptional use controlled assessments.
But
Isn't that when internship
university
and
one.
area where we can observe what you're doing? I think we're integrated.
And it's saying it prioritizes assessments evidence from real life performance. We are at integrated.
We integrated.
Okay, somehow near where I was.
So integrated.
Self and peer assessment. Self and peer assessment. Self-assessing. Do we permit our learners or ourselves to assess ourselves and assess each other?
Are we on exploring them?
Exploring.
Exploring.
Also those
When exploring?
Yeah.
Self and peer assessment are used by some teachers at certain points in time. So we are at exploring.
Yes.
What about developing?
Developing.
Teachers are encouraged by the management.
I think management
Invite
encourages.
learners.
I think management encourage. Whether we do or we don't do, but they encourage it. Yeah? It can't be that it's not encouraged.
There should be management.
There should be some encouragement that comes from management.
Practice self-assessment. Self-assessment.
Self and peer. It's encouraged.
Self and peer.
I think it is exploring.
You see, developing gives us, the word says is encouraged, because I've not said is practiced. But I've said is encouraged. We have a quality assurance thing, we have HR, we have our deans who talk to us, heads of departments, we talk to colleagues, students can come and complain if they have an issue with some lecture or something.
Okay, we
I
take
think developing.
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 Okay, we have finished assessment. Teaching staff. Techno-literacy. Being technology, having literacy in technology, not just ICT, but technology generally.
Okay.
Techno-literacy. Where our teaching staff, generally in this university, how do you consider them? Are they technically literate? Yeah? The organization is experienced as a living laboratory where new technologies and practices emerges.
Maybe emerge. Maybe the T was
Emerged.
I think we are between integrated and transformative. To me. To me.
Yes,
No, you read integrated, for example. Integrated applies. No.
The institutional policy,
Listen.
institutional policy is committed to the development of techno-literacy in relation to content, pedagogical, and technological skills, and encourages the emergence of leaders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our IOD policy is talk this thing here.
And we also just recently passed a nice city policy. not?
So I think we are basically integrated. Because
Do we have an ICT policy? The one we passed in. Yeah, we do.
at least we can be integrated if we are not transformative. On this one, we are high up.
So it is integrated.
Yes.
Digital content creation. Digital content creation. Teachers work collaboratively beyond institutional borders for the creation, remix of learning resources, and for seeking peer feedback.
That is exploring.
Yeah, I think it's exploring. The organization recognizes the teachers as creators of digital. Teachers are regular and active creators, remixers of digital content. Some of the content produced is published in learning resource
We're
posters.
developing. Some.
Teachers are
But
not
regularity we don't.
No.
I think it's exploring.
Exploring.
So we are exploring, limited number.
a limited number. Digital environment management. Mastering and competencies required to create and update a tailored learning environment allows the organization to re-engineer its learning provision.
I think they will transformative.
Ah,
Because we are above integrated. We are
digital
beyond-
environment.
Yeah, we are beyond integrated.
The organization has the internal competencies for being fully autonomous in the choice of its learning technology, which is interoperable with external systems.
Exactly. So we are
yeah.
beyond, we're even beyond that level.
I think this is the level where
Transformative.
mastering the competences required to create and update a tailored learning environment
Yes.
allows the organization to re-engineer
Because what people can do this.
its learning provision.
I think we are transformative as regards that
Yeah.
aspect.
So we go with the
Digital environment
transformative.
management.
Yes.
Our DICTs nowadays is really very good.
Yes.
So yeah, we
So the last part
Continuing professional development. CPD.
I
the
think
central
it is
system
developing.
to plan.
It has reading, getting feedback, attending conferences, training sessions, workshops.
I think it can be exploring.
We're exploring.
There is a central system to plan learning and development in line with the need for competences within the organization. The system is mainly used by the management.
We are developing.
We don't have a central system. Okay,
The staff appraisals, performance.
no, for continuous professional development.
Workshops, seminars.
These courses you are
reading,
taking,
Yeah.
if somebody does not actually identify a course and say, let me go for this course myself, no one is there to say, you go and attend this course.
But some of us have been beneficiaries of being told, you attend this course.
So the practice is there.
The few that I have attended, I have been told to attend. The few, especially the ICT ones, I have just been called upon to really participate. So there is really deliberate management really. I think we are developing. Because also another thing, politically, Prof. Mwenda, if we give law on this one, there's also an indicator that we do not even push this project forward because there is we don't encourage.
I think we are integrated here. So
We're integrated.
CPD has a transformative effect on the organization through the emergence of educational leaders. Learned and or informed staff is fully empowered to influence and co-design the organization's policy and management. That's why I see. Because through our continuous professional development that we have taken, we are influencing a number of things in this university. So we're influencing the policy on e-learning, for example. People who have done some other CPDs in other professions are influencing. They come to Senate and influence. Yeah. On CPD, I think it is integrated.
Yeah.
People, and these people are the learners. The techno-literacy of our learners.
.com.
The techno-literacy of our learners. Where could we place our learners? The organization is experienced as a living laboratory where new technologies and practice emerge. There is a policy to develop the general level of techno-literacy of learners and recognize the contribution of leaders. The general level of techno-literacy of learners includes the ability to system thinking and complexity. Techno-literate leaders are emerging. Some techno-literate learners critically review the current provision of technologies and experiment with emerging tools. I think we have a policy to develop our learners.
Integrated.
Yeah, there's a policy. And most of the ICT is a cross-cutting course in all the programs. So there's a policy that every person should go away from this university when they are technically literate. Now, our learners creating content, digital content creation. As you know, now online learning is about learners creating content, not content being provided to learners. But through their discussions, through their contributions, they are creating their own content.
I think we are unobserved. Exploring, let me see.
Some learners create digital content in relation to their Digital environment management. The organization has policies and systems to make learners the core designers of organization's digital learning environment according to their talents and maturity. DICTs, do you involve our learners in creation of environment, learning environment, electronic learning environment? The CHOSCs? Hmm? Yeah, but that's true, but like the kiosks that you've set up,
Yes.
they are managed by students.
The kiosks are to help them to, I think, do research, study.
Yes. So they.
So,
Mm.
I think as far as the e-portfolio is concerned, they help. They
So-
assist them in creating the content for the e-portfolio.
And I think they are managed by students.
Yes.
Yeah.
Students themselves.
Because we are talking about the environment, digital environment management.
Yes,
Are there some labs which are managed by students in the university?
Hubs.
Labs, computer labs, ICT labs.
I'm not so sure.
This digital environment, what is the digital
labs,
environment?
I think the labs are managed by systems admins.
Yeah.
Yeah, who are not students.
Yeah. The digital learning, the digital environment management is generally the environment, like our ICT systems within the university, learners helping each other maybe to create accounts, to create emails, helping them to learn. Yeah, managing labs. In some universities, actually, it's students who take turns in being computer lab attendants. You know.
Okay.
Do we have such a system that permits that?
So now, like under developing, when they said the innovation encourages learners to create their own personal learning environment, to organize and capture all their learning, formal and informal. That is the e-portfolio kind of thing.
Yeah, organize their own personal learning environment. Maybe come with your laptop, bring your own device. Formwele is running on Moodle, which is an open access. Yeah. But generally, I think the university generally encourages, though we may not have a policy, but the university generally encourages open access. Now,
So between developing and integrated.
Organization is developing an open culture, where open content, tools, standards, are the organizing references for the selection and production of
Successful learning. Because you try to encourage us that use open education resources, use things that have open license, that one.
Don't we have a policy in that regard?
There is no policy, but then we are working. The
Well,
learning community
between developing and integrated.
is exploring.
So,
So if there
are
is
we
I think it's
policy,
developing or
developing.
integrated?
I think it is
Developing.
developing.
Huh? ICT policy.
ICT, digital technologies, policy. I think we're in transformative there.
They actively involved and organized innovation. It works beyond the institutional boundaries. So it's yeah, we're on transformative. Page 35.
We're in transformative when it comes to policies. Digital technologies for innovation.
We are between integrated and transformative.
The organization has policy encouraging all stakeholders to place innovation at the center of the learning and teaching process, and to use digital technologies to support innovation across technology. The use of digital technologies is primarily sought to support innovation and organizational transformation.
So between integrated and transformative.
We are integrated, I think.
Okay.
We might not get 100%.
Right.
Copyright and licensing. I am a member of the IP and Intellectual Property Management Committee. And in that committee, they were talking about only copyright. So I told them, but there is now a movement for open access. So we need to look at that as we develop policies for, as we develop IPR policies.
But there is already policy. There is some policy.
there's some policy,
Copyright policy.
but there's no committee. Now, this committee has just been set up to manage patents, to manage copyrights, and so on and so forth. Because people are producing a lot of things here, but we produce them and we just leave them there. But there's this committee which encourages those who are producing to be able to go and patent their things. And now they want to recruit, there's a job here, those who want to apply. The job for an innovation manager who will be there to look at staff that are doing research and coming out with things to how do you patent them, and patenting the processes as you go on. If you're in the process of developing something, they patent each and every step that you take, and the copyrights and so on.
So we are between integrated and transformative.
The organization has a policy regarding the respect of copyright and licensing while promoting the use of liberal schemes, e.g. Creative Commons copyright. Yeah, I think we integrated.
Integrated.
Privacy policy.
There is also integrated.
Privacy, for example, when we are displaying students' results, we don't put names. When students are sitting exams, we don't want them to put their names. Those are kind of privacy things, isn't it? Yeah. We don't want people to associate some bad or good marks to someone. I think that's privacy. The institution's privacy policy is fully integrated in the ICT policy. I think
Integrated.
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 Because the director was actually quoting the ICT policy when we were talking about this issue that came up in the Human Resource Directorate. Social media. The organization is exploring the use of social media to promote participative and contributive culture. Okay. We go on. Accessibility. Developing.
It's used through individual initiatives.
The organization is exploring the use of this social media to promote a participative and contributive culture. Contributive culture. I remember Dicks invited us to go and hear presentations on how we can use social media for learning. I presented a paper there, but I wasn't there myself. But I had a paper they presented. Accessibility. Learners with disabilities have the opportunity to have their say regarding the accessibility of digital resources and tools. There are a limited number of digital tools and resources accessible to people with disabilities. Accessibility has been identified as an issue that should be addressed.
So I think we are developing. Is it developing or developing? Yeah, that's the opportunity.
We are developing, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Connectivity. There are few computers located in dedicated and controlled spaces. When needed, teachers can provide learners with access to digital technologies and internet.
There are two answers. There's developing and then there is transformative.
Yeah. Let's go for the highest this time around. Transformative.
There's developing, which I say is relevant to us, and there's also transformative. The middle one,
Bring your own device.
that one I don't think.
Can't be at transformative using the institution's infrastructure.
Learners and teachers explore the potential.
Yeah, but our infrastructure is so limited.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about
Not rely
learners
on
and
it.
teachers.
Me, I'm thinking of aware.
Aware.
There are a few computers located in dedicated and controlled spaces.
Fine, thanks for you.
Not explored.
Yeah, it was sent to
Because if Richard wants his students to get access to
It takes them to the lab.
There is free
Yes.
access to the
But
device.
which has four computers.
What are we saying?
We are deliberating between aware and exploring.
When needed, teachers can provide learners with access to digital technologies and the internet. When they need, learners have the access to a digital device.
When they
Between
need.
aware and exploring.
I think it is exploring. Because, for instance, when these learners can only go to use Mwele if a lecturer tells them, I have put content on Mwele. When a lecturer doesn't tell them, they will not go.
Facebook.
Yes. But if you tell them, they will go and they use.
So we have a few computers located in dedicated and controlled spaces, or when needed, teachers can provide learners with access to digital technologies and
Digital content.
Exploring.
no, what are we saying? We are now
We've agreed on
exploring.
Exploring.
Sorry, that's the third one.
Digital content. Learners and teachers actively contribute to the curation of the internet for the benefit of the learning community.
There's that second last one.
The institution has a policy.
Integrated.
The institution has a policy regarding digital content, e.g. subscribing to and contributing to a federation of learning resources repository.
Yes.
Yes,
You have something like that?
it's there.
But again, Paul, I think this is another rubric that needs to be revisited, because it should be more than just the existence of the policy, but it should be like the generation, the design, the generation, the development of digital content as well. Like what we are doing in e-learning, we are encouraging lecturers to develop content. We are talking about them, doing videos and uploading these videos through the mini lectures and so on and so forth. So, but the rubric is focusing on policy right across. It's talking about policy.
But
what
under,
about
under exploring, they've talked about that. If you read through the exploring bit, the third one, the organization has engaged in reflection of the policy regarding the provision and internal production.
Yeah, but then higher up, it's because
Then
at
they
this
lose it
level,
ahead.
at this level, you're just discussing the policy, but we have moved beyond the policy to actually,
Content.
promoting and actually developing digital content.
So we are at the second last one.
This one is focusing on. We are just talking about the policy. That is where you are at.
I think for them, once they say you have a policy, it means that you are practicing the policy.
Okay.
To them, they feel that once you have a policy, you are practicing
What are
it.
the environment encourages?
Yeah. Having a policy is one thing.
And practicing.
Implementing the policy is another.
Yes.
So it's not a given that because the policy exists, therefore the practice is
Yeah, so there should be another question around practice.
Yes.
Okay, not that.
Okay.
But for now, this one is
The second last one,
the second last one.
Integrated.
Digital learning environment. The digital learning environment is co-designed with teachers, learners, and other stakeholders. Teachers, learners, and other stakeholders are invited to contribute to the...
I think they're just at aware.
Aware is the first one.
Second.
Okay, aware.
Technical support.
Technical support, yeah.
So transformative.
No, Makerere is nowhere near transformative.
Interpreted.
The practice of technical support is valued and celebrated as a learning opportunity to develop a wide range of competences at the service of the learning community.
They have reduced nowadays.
Yes.
Formerly, yes, but now they have improved.
Because why I don't want to take
Let's ask students and
why I think it's not integrated. Because there are clearly identified resources for the support, either internal or external, depending on the internal competence. But the last one is where we are.
The practice of technical support is valued And celebrated as a learning opportunity
Yes.
to develop a wide range of competences at the service of the learning
There's no
community.
workshop for pedagogy or whatever. We don't call technical to come and be there. We know they are very important.
Yeah.
At everything we are doing, we call them to be there. So they are part and parcel.
Mm.
Yes.
So we go to small.
Okay, integrated.
When I'm explaining to
I mean,
Mr. Gesa here or to Michael about e-teaching, I have to tell them what is the learning outcome. How should it be? So this is what I want to do. So we integrate them in this whole process.
So are you saying it is integrated or?
What does the student say?
No, the one we're talking, no.
The way he's talking to explain.
Yeah, the context which I'm using that we involve them. We involve them.
And
Not,
we
they're not
celebrate
mere technicians
we
whom you call in the workshop, in computer gang, and they go back. They actually sit in and even understand the process. This is what we are doing. It's what we want to achieve. Transformative.
Transformative. Adoption.
E-portfolio. Jamia. Jamia, this is your part.
That is your area now.
This is your part. Learners and staff engagement, almost universal.
Adoption.
E-portfolios use it. We got a little or no concern.
Where are we?
We are aware.
Aware, just
There is a little implementation, okay. Little.
Yeah, aware. Next. Motivation, ownership. Aware.
we know the benefits, yes, of e-portfolio. We are aware.
At least starting from today, at least.
Innovation. E-portfolio are used to support current processes.
So we are taking away.
This one.
This one we are
Innovation.
Little or no concern with innovation regarding portfolio.
Use it.
No, it's aware.
E-portfolios are used to support,
using it to support anything right now.
not as yet, even to great to
Not yet.
little or no concern.
No concern, really, we have
We are
concern.
just aware that it's used to do.
Yeah, but you see, the aware we
There's a
know.
description of
The aware which we know is not the aware which they're describing here.
Yes, it's different.
The one they're describing there is a
Meaning
different
we are
one.
using them to support.
They're saying I used to support current processes. Don't you see?
So
That
we are
is
aware.
different.
Where are we?
No, we are aware in English that tumanyi, tumanyiko.
but I
But here.
An observer.
Little.
I think
An observer.
we are an observer, really.
Transformative now.
We're not using.
Learn. Transformative learn.
Yes.
Leadership. We're in integrative.
Where?
Integrative. You read integrative. Senior staff and education leaders can articulate a clear vision of how e-portfolio practice will develop and might transform learning and the curriculum.
We are not yet there. We are still.
Yeah, this is futuristic.
Yes.
Our leaders, even the vice chancellor last time was there and really talked good about this. They say this
They can articulate
it can transform our teaching if we implement it.
It can, but we have not articulated anything really concrete.
Maybe we are developing.
But they're saying
We are
can
just going in the
articulate.
dark. It can do this, it can do this. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that is possible. But have we got anything really clearly articulated like this at Makerere, this is what we're going to do with the portfolio?
We are committed, so.
I think we
So go for the developing.
We are
Developing,
committed.
The developing at least gives us a middle ground.
Content, evidence of reflection.
their own.
If the learners decided to create an e-portfolio now,
Are we willing to let them?
Do we?
Are we committed to letting them
Yes.
choose?
We are talking about an institution.
Mm.
We are talking about Makerere.
And we are part of Makerere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are part of Makerere, but we are not Makerere.
But if we sold this idea, if we went to Senate, for example, and presented this, I don't think there will be any person
Objection.
who will oppose the learners creating their content and putting them. So the institution is committed.
I think there's commitment.
It is an assumption.
Let's go with that
It's
for
not
now.
the state of the art.
Okay, choice of tools.
It's already 1 o'clock.
Choice of tools.
Choice of tools.
And go to the next one.
Away.
We are still on method then.
An observant.
Yeah, again.
Yes, because now we are
Away.
looking at students.
Learners have access to a variety of tools.
What? Not yet there.
Read it up to the end. It goes to the second page.
They have the tools, but they don't know.
They don't know how.
use to
Open.
support
Yes.
the portfolio.
Process. Anyway, I also want to introduce them to the e-portfolio process anyway, as such.
Learners have access to a variety of books, but they don't. I think we do it.
Don't know how to can be used to
The issue is that we are looking at learners, and learners have not been introduced to the e-portfolio.
As yet.
Not
As
here,
yet.
not yet.
So
So
that
little.
means we are unobserved.
We are not observant. There's a little or no
Not
concern
aware.
with the choosing tools regarding e-portfolio.
But they do not know.
How
It's
to
the
use.
second one.
Yes.
So take the
aware.
second one.
Yes.
Second one
Second
applies.
one.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Exploring.
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 Some members of the staff have their own e-portfolio, blog or personal web space.
Yeah, I think that is true.
Blogs.
And there are some members of staff who have those, and you have an WordPress. You have WordPress. Don't you have WordPress? That's your blog. What's the password?
So that is the exploring.
And username.
Third one.
I think we're the third one. The third one. Some members of
Some
staff.
people have.
What is exploring? Yeah.
Quality management.
Quality.
Three, I think, is also. We're not using e-portfolio data.
No, we are not. They are ready to.
There's awareness with
Yes.
the potential for using. That's the second one.
So we are going with
Aware.
awareness of potential for using
Yeah. Data quality
portfolio
management.
data for quality,
But no activities.
but no activity. Partnerships.
So we're on the fourth one. Maybe the fourth
Impact.
one. The fourth
Third
one.
Huh?
No, wait a minute.
Partnerships
partnerships,
have been
the fourth one.
established
Mm.
to support the development of an e-portfolio strategy. And now it is three. It is exploring.
We haven't yet established.
Identified.
We've only identified.
Okay.
Impact.
Aware.
It's transformative. E-portfolio practice has
We're on the
global
second one.
impact.
Aware.
Huh?
On the second one. Yeah.
Yes.
To have an impact.
Yes.
But we are aware.
But some
of it.
awareness
Yes.
for the potential.
Yeah.
And sustainability.
Yeah. So we go for the second one.
Sustainability.
Or the third one.
No, don't qualify for that.
E-portfolio practice is supported. We have no practice, so what do you support?
It's not fair.
So the second one.
Second one.
Some are So we are going with the
The second
aware.
one.
Yeah. Usability.
Usability.
Exploring.
Yeah, aware.
Aware, let's proceed next.
Aware. Integration.
We haven't done the pilot.
Not
It
yet.
will come at some point.
Aware. Yeah.
So that is aware.
Integration.
Integration.
Development. Yeah.
Aware. Aware.
You read about development. They are plans.
E-portfolios
Integrate. They
are
not-
fully integrated. No? There are clear plans to integrate.
Hmm.
Not
Those plans
They are
are
not
there.
there.
They are not yet clear.
So we are on second one.
Yes.
Management.
Management.
Okay. Management.
Still aware, let's proceed. Yes.
An observant.
Wapi. Recognize the need.
Yeah, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, we recognize that.
Yeah, that is the second. Aware.
That means it's applies even the last one.
Institutional e-portfolios.
Institutional e-portfolios.
You have N.
So recognize the need also.
Yes.
We are aware.
Next,
Okay.
next page. We are doing well. But
If we had that speed from the start.
We do e-portfolios.
yes.
Aware.
Platforms that have been identified. Need, providing video spaces for learners to establish their identity. Yeah, aware. Aware.
Not exploring.
Explore. I will recognize the need.
You have a variety of platforms.
Wapi.
Exploring the
The second one.
Aware.
I think the second one is the one we can take.
Second one.
What's the meaning
Josh?
of that one?
Joshua,
Second one.
do we recognize the need?
There's a debate between
Yes.
a variety.
been identified.
Exploring, there are a variety of platforms that have been
A is
identified.
Wele, isn't it?
I think we go for the second one.
This is aware, Joshua.
This is
Democracy,
aware.
yes.
But
yes.
what's the meaning of the next one?
Interoperable, interoperability,
operating with each other.
fitting within the other.
Okay.
I think the rest are aware. Okay.
An observer.
Wapi, Dennis, no. We are somewhere at least.
Open data.
Diggs, what is your opinion on exploring?
No, I think we don't have time.
Aware.
The date, it's not
Aware.
possible.
Is aware.
Aware.
We have identified it and need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have identified.
Open data.
Interoperability is
The second one.
Aware.
To give decade. To open data.
The next is exploring. Open data.
Open data.
I think so.
Open data is
There are
exploring.
initiatives to
The
explore.
initiative.
To explore how e-portfolio data can be used
Can be used.
to provide new services beyond. Yes? There are no.
This is the first one to
This
do
is the
it.
initiative.
That's why we're.
Okay, just showing interest.
To explore how e-portfolio data can be used to provide new services beyond those who traditionally assign.
Portfolios.
Ah, the last part.
No, aware. Aware.
But there's an interest.
The last
That's the
part
second
tells us
one.
how.
Aware.
There's an interest. We take the second one.
Yes, aware.
Adoption.
Adoption. Even no badges.
We're on badges, yeah?
Unobservant.
Hey, open budget.
Even no badges.
There is a little information of open badge.
An observant.
And,
An observant.
Unobservant.
Badges, yeah.
Unobservant.
no, motivation. We're not on motivation. Adoption.
Adoption.
Joshua, adoption, we are on the first
under
one.
open badges adoption.
An
The
observant.
first one.
An observant.
Motivation. That.
Motivation,
Motivation.
the second one.
On motivation, what are we carrying?
Motivation,
Aware.
I think, aware.
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 Aware, yes.
With motivation.
Open badges again.
For
Unobservant.
innovation.
An observer.
Here we're basically an
We are still at the
observer.
bottom rung of the
Little or no concern.
Yes. We haven't even
This time we're accepting that no concern.
No concern.
On open badges for innovation,
An observer.
Unobservant.
unobservant.
Yes.
Leadership,
Aware.
Leadership.
Yeah.
Uh-huh,
I've
aware,
identified as
yes.
aware.
policy,
Aware.
Yeah, aware.
The last.
Aware still.
Aware still, yes.
Partnership.
Joshua.
Partnerships.
With our speed.
under strategy, we have aware.
Aware, yes.
Aware.
So good thinking.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we're on
We are
partnerships
using that
now.
as a word.
Partnerships.
Open badges, potential partners.
We don't
We have
even
not
know this.
identified.
Maybe Joshua may be having some.
How? Give us one.
When there is no policy and the strategy.
Okay. So, an observer.
This thing doesn't have somehow. Impact.
Which is that aware?
Yeah, under partnership, I've taken the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
An observer.
Unobservant.
Unobservant. Impact.
Impact,
Unobservant.
Unobservant still, yes. Yes, no badges.
Because we don't have budget.
Hey.
No budgets, how can you have impact?
Nothing.
then
Sustainability.
sustainability,
Any initiatives so far, Josh?
Have you identified any?
If you don't have budget, how can we support it even?
You can get
Second
You can identify
Sustainability. The second one.
the need for training resources to support open badge initiatives has been identified.
Aware.
I think.
Yes.
I think, yeah,
Yeah,
that's okay.
aware.
How do you support what you don't have?
No, there's a need.
There's a need.
Okay.
Decide the need.
The need to secure
Yeah,
resources.
And finally,
Oh, we are over, so large.
that is aware.
So aware, aware. The last one is aware.
So we submit.
Okay.
Oh,
It
it
is
is short
in the
of
other section.
learners.
Pardon?
It will be indicated in the report. This template was short of the learners section.
Yes,
It was mixed up with technology.
So we shall get the emails, yeah?
But we covered learners.
Yeah, we covered. I have it.
In the hard
Yeah.
Thanks for your
thanks for your participation.
Your answers have been recorded.